All right. So last time, um, you'd gone into the dungeon. You'd found that essentially some of the primal nature of both Wrath and the Beholder was still down there. I'm trying to remember some of the tag scenes we did at the end from probably 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Something like that. I try to remember. I think we had some stuff move on there, but I think I did not make some notes on that. Of course, it might not have been terribly important. Um,
I took good notes up until the end of the session, and then I took none.
okay. Yeah, I have some stuff from earlier. Um, yeah, I got stuff from before. So yeah, those may not have been terribly important to what was going on. So Adon has been resting and is probably going to be for a little bit of time. Uh, there's such a shock to the system of trying to pull that much um, energy and such in was difficult. So you have sort of a sick. I mean, it's sort of the chronically not chronically ill, but it's one of those things that's going to kind of knock Adon on his ass for a little while he's recovering from it. Um, Beyond that, you have noticed there has been a bit more of a presence of the Guardians kind of coming around the bar. And they're just kind of hanging out. At this point, not sort of officially. The proprietor has been in sort of several meetings with some of the city council members have come in. Essentially, there has just been a little bit more tension. And recently, last several weeks, there's actually been a little bit more tension in the area as there are, with the fights and make sure trying to keep those things down.
Okay.
And one evening, while things are sort of going normally at the bar, Wrath, I don't know if you're sort of out talking with some of the wannabe adventurers who haven't kind of graduated up to the adventurers room yet.
Yeah, I'm probably bored, probably trying to scare up some business.
Okay. You're talking with the group. Nastaya, you are kind of getting drinks, going back. The nice thing is, people have been nicer to you since you kicked the Dark Guardian through the door.
Is it forced nicety? Oh, hey, sorry, no, yeah, we're not gonna piss you off, or is it actually generally hey?
It's cool. A mix. Some of them are genuinely kind of impressed. Those, unfortunately, tend to be the one, the troublemakers. Yeah, she booted a Guardian out, and she's still here. The ones who seem to be, nicer in that. The other ones seem maybe a little more afraid of what you might do.
They should be.
Perfect. And as you're coming through, there's a woman that's just kind of glaring at you. She's in one of the corners, doing her she sort of have a drink, and she's just got her eye on you the entire time.
I mean, not in my bar. I'll go sit down in front of her.
Yeah, it's at this moment that she just kind of her eyes kind of glance. And we'll say, Samrio, you are you might be prepping some stuff right now, because she has not seen you yet. I don't know who she could be. Yeah, her eyes kind of just flit at you real quick. Tell me a little bit about how you see... What's her name? Merciless Marion.
She's probably fairly attractive and athletic, but has this cold stare. She doesn't have a warmth to her where you automatically come off oh, this is somebody I can converse with and we can be friends or whatever. It's very cold. You can see in her eyes that that she's used to killing, and probably looks like some of the more VIP type patrons we get in here.
Okay.
You can tell like she's an experienced adventurer at this point.
Yeah. So Wrath, you say you sit down.
Yeah.
She's her eye like she's going here. Her eyes just kind of just dart over to you, and she just goes, "Seats taken, friend."
I want to know what you're glaring at me for.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't glaring. It was glaring at
Oh.
Nastaya.
Oh, and Nastaya.
Yeah.
I would have let that go.
Okay.
Nastaya. I'll maybe stop in. Like, Nastaya, you got a friend in the corner. Think she needs a drink.
Yeah, she like stops like with holding some empty like beer mugs and he's like talking quietly so no one can hear and says, "Yeah, I mean some people have been giving me evils all night, but that lady is taking the cake."
And I'll say the one thing as far as the adventurer stuff, the adventurers up that are in the second floor tend to be pretty relaxed because it's sort of everybody's in the thing, and they're usually there to talk about stuff they're doing, like old times, all that kind of thing. She's like in the corner, back to the wall, like to check on things. Like she's someone who's probably more on alert mode than the adventurers tend to be here. In particular, the Demon's Ruin Inn is nice for a lot of those adventurers because they know this is the place they can relax because there's sort of everyone has each other's back thing, particularly up on the second floor, which she's not at. But yeah, at this point, so yeah, she's sort of seated in the corner where she's out of the way.
Should I go with a bodyguard? I rarely see people that angry at me. Was she dating the guy I kicked?
Oh, the girl you kicked, but you don't know. Maybe.
That girl I kicked, sorry. She goes over to Samrio, scoops up a couple mugs of ale that are probably there ready and waiting, and puts them on the tables on the way to the woman. And like when she gets there, she like puts on her waitress smile and says, "Hey, can I get you anything?"
Takes a moment, just sort of looks at you. You're a fire demon? Is that or do we have a type of demon that you're half?
I'm like bluey purpley skin, so I'm not the fire demon that the proprietor is.
Okay, but like yeah, I don't think we ever came up with a specific type of demon that you're.
Apparently, my dad is an incubus. I think someone said, but for me, I have no clue.
Okay. Are you okay if she kind of recognizes the signs of an incubus?
Yeah, sure.
And says something? She's like, "You're part incubus. That has a tendency to go badly."
I'm part what?
Well, you're part demon. I know you're aware of that. How hard do you fight what's inside you?
She like pauses for a moment, like, and is just like obviously like a little uncomfortable and like like out of left field, and she's like, "So the specials we have today are," and she asks the specials slowly.
And it's like, "I know it's not your fault what they made you. Give me," and she rattles off like it's kind of like a rot gut type. It's the sort of thing that you drink when you just want to get hit with with a pretty big wave of drunk without actually caring what it tastes like.
Cool. She turns around to go get it, but then stops and turns around and says, "What did you say I was again?"
At that point, she sort of stands up It just takes it's not sort of threat. It takes a step or two. You never knew what type? You're part incubus.
Yeah. Was never taught as a kid.
How does
She's
it man?
She's like trying to. You see, like, because this is like however many episodes in, you see the telltale signs that Nastya is resisting the thought in the back of her head. Is just like, can I shut this person up by hitting them?
She goes, how does it manifest in you? Anger? Corruption? The thing that you have to fight?
You know a lot about demons, huh?
Killed a lot of demons.
Yeah, in her head, that's like that. Okay, that's a red flag.
She goes, I've seen their breed. I've seen what gets left behind. I've seen some people who were good but fought hard against what they were. I've also seen some that had to be put down.
So that's why you've been staring at me like you want to stab me over and over.
This town is... lets demons and other dimensional things just walk through. Too dangerous. But you're working here. I'm assuming you haven't killed anybody. So you've been fighting against it.
She's trying real hard, but like a little bit slips out, and she like steps up a little bit and just says, "Not yet."
And like
With
her
a smile on her face.
yeah, you see a bit of smile, kind of reach it, and like it's in her eyes just a little bit, and she's like, "Today's not when you're going to change things." At which point, Samrio, you come up from downstairs. There's Marion, kind of toe to toe with Nastya.
I think I come up from downstairs and I have like a wooden crate full of like liquor bottles, and I see Marion and I just drop them all. So like the whole bar just like looks over at me because I just dropped a whole bottle or a whole crate of liquor, and it crashes and just like liquor goes everywhere. And I'm just standing there like looking around and then like looking at Marion, but I don't say anything. I'm like just in total shock.
Is that really audible?
Yeah, like the whole bar here. I dropped a whole crate of liquor.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
like breaks the tension, and everyone, like, people who are there who are regulars are probably like, do you have that in America? Whenever we're at a restaurant or anything in England, if someone drops a plate or anything, everyone cheers and goes, "Yeah!"
I was a server for 3 years. Yes.
Yes.
So
I do work food and beverage. Yes, that is true.
I imagine like half the regulars are like, "Woo, yeah!" And it like breaks like the tension, and like Nastya looks over at
Oh yeah.
at Samrio, and she's like, "Oh, so one, yeah, insert rot gut here," and goes over to Samrio.
And her mouth kind of falls open a little bit. Samrio.
Shit. Nastya, can you just like make sure nobody steps on this glass?
At which point, Kendi kind of comes out from where she's been helping in the other thing. She's like, "Who dropped something?"
Ah, son of a bitch.
Wrath is sipping sherry at the bar. Watch it.
Kitty, I'll be with you just in a minute. I run over to Mary and I'm like, what in the fuck are you doing here?
And so, do you, when you run up, do you get close?
No, I don't get
Or
close.
whisper-
I get close enough to where I can like whisper to where Kitty can't hear me.
Okay. So yeah, as you kind of come and you said, did you grab her arm or something, or when you come, or you just close? What are you doing here? So that
Yeah, I
Kendi's
don't
back
get
there?
aggressive. I don't. It's probably been like 20 years.
Yeah.
Since I've seen her. So, like, I'm just like in total shock. I'm like, what the hell are you doing here? What the
Was she aware that, I would say, did she think you were dead or you just fled, or?
to tell you the truth, I don't know. Like
Probably
I
just,
think,
probably just fled. Like,
yeah, I think when Sam Rio left, he just like figured after a few years, like that was the end of it.
okay.
No try of contact or anything like that. So
I can roll this if you want, or if you like want to take no damage and just like she slaps you across the face.
yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, just yes. All of you just see like him get slapped.
Some of like the people at the bar are like, ooh.
What does Kidney see that? Like, what is her reaction to me getting slapped
yeah.
by some
Kenny
random?
immediately, listen, bitch. She just runs over. It's like, and then she kind of grabs, like, almost passes by you, and just, you stay the fuck away from my husband. Just your husband. That's my husband. And then there's this moment where the two of them just sort of like look at each other, like, and then they're just like, what?
Kindy, this
Husband?
is Marion, and look, can we just all just sit down for a second? The whole bar is staring at us.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've given them enough of a show.
Okay.
I think there was definitely audible gasps when it was like, no, my husband.
There's like a new there's like a new gambling board set up like with chalk that just says like who's gonna win between the
Yeah.
two
It's
men.
just someone rushes in and starts to write it down.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Sam Rio probably has the lowest marks. Like the worst odds of winning.
Okay.
Nastaya's behind the bar, like sweeping up some of the glass, just exceptionally glad that she's not the one in trouble today.
Okay. Yeah, it's just, you sort of go behind, and then Wrath, you've been talking with some people. You see, Wilfred. Yeah, Turwillow. Going into your office.
I know
Which was
better than
supposed
that.
to be locked.
Right, it was locked. Yeah, you see him hastily, sit down at a sherry and, make a beeline for his office before something ends up missing.
Okay. Yeah, I open the door, and Wilfred's just sort of like looking. Like, I'm assuming you've got like old memorabilia and other stuff. Like,
Oh, yeah.
So like, especially if someone who's a wannabe adventurer comes in, it looks like impressive as hell. Like, this
Right.
is someone who's done a
There's,
lot.
my big portrait, behind me, but, there's a lot of other, dragon tooth and, whatever. I would imagine the dragon tooth could actually be from the dragon that I am not friends with.
Yeah, from Gek.
Yep, Gek.
Yep. just sort of like, when you open the door, Wilfred doesn't even like turn, and just sort of looks at the tooth and goes, "You still got that? I always wanted one of those."
Like if you would have had the nerve and stuck around, you would have gotten it.
Gek never was a big fan of mine. There was a tendency, to want to eat me. Dragons don't like kinder. That's a
I do
It's a
remember them saying something about a snack.
yes. Couple things. Gek's back in town.
Not again. Last time we had words, it wasn't. I hope not to see him again.
Well, I'm sure Gek's probably going to try to find you. You two go back. But not hear about Gek. Hear about something else.
Like, what have you done now?
This is not about what I have done. This is what we can do for each other. So, I got talked to by some kind of harebrained fortune teller. Wanted to know that if I knew you, and something about getting your mojo back.
Tanala?
Yep. Believe that was her. Asking around for people who knew you kind of back when. Apparently lost some of it. Wants to get it back. And I think we can help each other. Now you can get into the inner sanctum of various mages and stuff. And I, if I go with you, can get some things that you need and find a few things of my own.
I don't know if I'm up for looting my friends and peers.
Kind of laughs and goes, how often were you friends with those peers?
We needed each other for things.
I have a expedition I'm going on in a few weeks, and there's actually some magical items that would be useful I can get my hands on, and I can also use that to help get some of the things that might help you, because she said you needed a power source of some sort. Like a very powerful one, maybe? She said she thinks that there's something that may have it somewhere in with the mages. She saw a vision. She had visions.
Like, how do I know this isn't going to go wrong like last time?
Okay, so
Remember
one time
when we were banned? Well, we weren't banned from the country, but every time we set foot near it, we were hunted.
Oh, like you were gonna go back there anyway. There's nothing in that country. One time things went wrong. What other time have things gone poorly with us?
I walk over to my book, flip to the section, for Wilfred, and I'm
that's cheating.
Even those with memory like mine, forget occasionally. But, I'm looking at no less than, 17 entries here where some scheme of yours resulted in us being outlawed, hunted, lost privileges at our favorite club.
But how many of those are where things went according to plan, or do you not write those things down, Mr. Great Mage?
I scan. I'm like, at least 4.
4 important ones. Like there's some stuff I need that I can't get a hold of normally, and it's going to help with where we're going. And I know they're not going to let me borrow it. They're probably not going to let you borrow it. So if it gets borrowed, they're not going to even notice for the most part. Mages just keep all that stuff. They're like dragons. They don't use most of it. They just keep it in case.
Who are you thinking of rolling?
Well, I have a list. And the list Wilfred has, it's not the heads. It's not like the main circle. But it's like the people right underneath them. And like some of the stuff you're looking for are some some stuff for scrying. Like clearly Wilfred did not put this thing all together himself. His knowledge of magic is not this much, but like some of them are kind of well-known magical artifacts that are fairly rare. And some of them, like you're going through, like that some of these people have some of them. There's a few of them you'd heard rumors about. There's other ones that you didn't know. Like he at least knows enough. There's enough on here that's correct that there's a decent chance the whole thing is, or at least a lot of it.
I'm gonna have to draw the line at no one in Mistra. We go near that place, heads will roll. Mine being first.
Okay. We can go probably some other. And Mistra is in particular just Adon's thing or the whole circle? Okay. He goes, you know what? Kind of goes through and goes, okay, I think that's this person and this person and this person. That still leaves these. A lot of these things are backup. We don't need all of it, but some of this stuff would be helpful. We get it. They're not even going to notice. you get a share of our treasure that we get, and then we take it back. No one's the wiser.
%.
You said what?
15%.
Oh, thank God. We're going to go up to 20 if you were going to push it. Or 25 if you were going to push it. But yeah, 15 sounds great.
I pick him up and put him on the desk. 20 then.
Ah, damn it. Tell them that I haggled.
Of course. Who's them, by the way?
He starts naming off. There's some of them are adventurers you've worked with in the past. Other ones, like at least all the ones you've got are ones that you have heard of. And it seems like a fairly elite company. And like as he kind of lists off like the mages and such, you're like, oh yeah, those are people who would definitely know, and who also have a lot of enemies on the council. Just because not all mages are actually a part of the council, and like some of those who have split off are there's kind of quite a split there. I can get some floor plans, some other stuff that we need. Couple visits. Sneak me in. You maybe take care of a few things on your own. Is there anything you want?
Let me look at my list. It's been a while since I've been able to go adventuring.
Yep. And I can also see if I can find a power source for you, because she told me that we should be able to find it with the mages of the city. And apparently it's not the only thing you need, but it's going to be part of it.
And that seems to jive with what Adon and I did, correct?
Yeah, because I mean the thing was
he needed more power.
Yeah, because he was pulling his life force out of himself to do it.
Like, we're gonna need a disguise for you first. No offense, but no mage in the right mind would let a Kender into their office.
But I'm here. What's that say about you?
It says that I'm going to fleece you before you leave.
Oh. All right, and in the bar, the potential angel boyfriend. Do you have a name in mind, or do you want to?
Not at all. I'm terrible with names. Feel free.
Angel names. Nice thing is, there's a ton of angelic names.
Let it be just something completely god-awful.
All right, we'll use that. As you sort of go in, I guess describe what I will put the name Zuflas looks like.
Oh god.
Zuflas was the angel of trees, though we're not gonna make him the angel of trees here.
Yeah, imagine the angels have like a human disguise, but that disguise is fucking terrible. In that, like, it barely contains or does not hide the fact at all that they are an angel, because like there's like a sort of like glow or like sparkle or like a golden like glittery area around their back, which is obviously like where their wings would be. And there's this like almost a glow about them. They have like a spotlight following them almost. It's just so obvious that like their disguise is terrible. And it's that kind of thing. And so imagine God, what's the quickest way I can describe this? Yeah, imagine a boy band member. A pop boy band member.
Okay. Is he the moody one?
don't know how else to describe him.
Oh, so I got boy band. But that reminds me, if you've not seen when Graham Norton asked the boy band questions to Monty Python,
Oh God.
he's like, "We had a boy band on recently. We figured there's 5 of you. We'll ask you the same questions." It was hilarious. Yeah, so he's coming, and a lot of people are sort of staring at him because he's beautiful, like practically perfection. Oh, you come in. He's sort of seated and he's leaned forward. I don't want to quite go with like the prophecies where they would perch, where they almost had to have wings back there to balance them out. But he's sitting in such a way that like the wings are essentially not hitting sort of the chair behind him. And as you said, you approach.
Nastia sees him for the first time, and God, yeah, I think she's like scooped up all the glass and put it back into this box that all the bottles were in originally. She's lifted it up and seen this guy and just drops it again.
Oh, so you dropped the box again?
Yeah.
And so the glasses are even more broken?
Yeah.
Okay.
She immediately dives down behind the bar and is just like doing that really sudden and frantic, like making sure her hair is not messy and like just making sure she doesn't look a mess before getting back up with like a smile on her face. And she like hurries over to him and just says, "Hey, what can I get you?"
He sort of takes a moment to look at you, and you can actually see the glow increase just a tiny bit as like a slight blush kind of comes over his cheeks. Elvish wine, please. You are... I've never seen anyone like you. Who are you?
Me? I'm Nastia.
Nastia. Zuflas. Very pleased to meet you.
Excuse me?
Zuflas.
She blinks and is just like, Zuflas, Elvish wine. In her head, she's just like, I don't think we carry anything that weak sauce. But she's just like, let me see if I can go get that for you.
Okay. You probably find something like there are elves and such that come in that do like the wines. It's just not ordered very much down here.
Yeah. She finds like a very, very dusty bottle and comes up and pours some and goes back over and just says, "There we are. So you're not from around here, I'm guessing? I'm good with faces and I haven't seen you before."
Smiles. He's like, "I'm very recent to this plane. I'm not used to this." It's sort of like loose down at the body. Because like the demons and angels are immaterial, but they can become material on the plane. Not quite used to this yet, but sort of smiles a bit and goes, "I don't know much of this area, but I'd like to."
She smiles, and when he motions to like his body, she's like, "Oh yeah, no, bodies are such a drag. I mean, your body is."
He just goes, "I think it's wonderful. It's weird, but
yeah, no, they're cool. Yeah,
all those things you don't feel when you're just sort of being a pure spirit. Everything about being down here is different. It's thrilling, invigorating."
Well, there's a lot. If you haven't been here before, I guess there's a lot to see. I could show you around, I guess.
How much do you think she knows about angels?
Just the way that like other demons and like people from the dungeon talk about them, they are her antithesis.
Yeah. We'll say you kind of know. You've been told this before. when demons take a human form, like all of the having a body and such doesn't actually tend to affect them all that much because they're already sort of creatures of instincts and desires and all this other stuff. Angels, however, when they take a form for longer than like a short time to visit someone or to do something that they're sort of commanded to do, if they live in that form for a while, it tends to play havoc a little bit personality-wise with them as they now suddenly have all of like hormones and everything else that are affecting who they are. So angels can kind of become pretty widely varied from who they used to be once they've sort of settled into a body.
So, is there any reason why you're exploring?
I spent so long watching the world, I wanted to get a taste for it. Wanted to be down here, live a little while.
Cool. That's really cool. I think one of like the another bar person is just like, Jonas Dyer, where's my drink? And she just turns and glares at them, and is just like, in a minute, and then turns back with like her smile back on her face.
Yeah, and when you turn back, like he's reached out and sort of touched your arm, and you can almost just feel there's a warmth to him.
He goes like,
he goes, would we be able to talk at some point, not around with others? I think you might understand a little more of what is happening to me than others would.
Sure. I mean, yeah. I get off work at insert time period.
Okay. He goes, I will. Okay, takes the drink and it's like, I'll be here.
She smiles and like stands there like a bit awkwardly for a tiny bit too long, and then realizes she has to get to work and she's staring, and so just turns and heads off.
Yeah.
And, like she goes into the back room, and as soon as she gets to the back room, she's like, "Oh my fucking god, what Nastya? What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?" No, she like slaps her cheeks and it's just like, no. Game face. Okay, and then she like,
okay. Samrio, you are in the proprietor's office now with your two wives. So Kindy's just like, husband. That's odd. When you're referred to as husband, it only comes from one person.
Kendi, you are my wife.
Mm-hmm. And Marion's like, as were we. We made a vow before the gods.
Made. Past tense, Marion. We were married for 2 months.
Let
haven't
me
seen each other for 20 years, and you come showing up in the bar after 20 years, happening to be right at the time my wife is standing there. My actual wife.
Your actual wife.
Actual wife, Marion. It's been 20 years. I haven't seen you.
That's how they make your roll. See if you're able to shut her down, because that's gonna piss her the fuck off.
All right. This is absolutely. I'm gonna go with karma on this. We are more than our past. I think that fits the situation. I'm definitely gonna roll. Actually, no, that wasn't my sheet. There's my sheet. I think I'm gonna roll love. That makes sense. It's a D10. And then I'll roll Kendi.
I would say, well, yeah, Kindy works. Yeah, you're talking about your wife.
Mm. And then
making a show for her so she doesn't destroy you.
Yeah. And then I'll roll likable. I mean, I'm likable, so I do that. That's a D10, a D12, and a D6, and then I can add 2d8 afterwards for home.
You're not kind of at the home right now. You could do the demon's ruin in because you are at your place of work.
I do that with the end then. So 1d10, 1d12. What was the other one? D6. So that's a 13 with a D10 effect. Ouch. Do I need to roll the 2 for the Demon's Ruin in?
Oh yeah, roll those and put one of them on there. I did not roll all of mine. Okay, they got the 2d10, missing a d8. Now one of those.
Does the 1 count for your Doom pool on?
Yeah, take a plot point. Did you get you 3? So that's your Doom pool here. We'll go here, 2d8 plus 1d6. Yeah, so what was your total?
13 plus 5, 18.
Okay, she's got, on hers, kind of go against it. She has an 18. I think what I'll do, I'll spend that one from the plot pool, or from the Doom pool, to add in the d6, which will give her a 24. Yeah, so at which point she sort of rounds on you. And well, last thing you said that you're here with her, it's been 20 years. It's been 20 years, but I remain faithful. The gods, when I made a vow before them, I meant it and I kept it. Yes, we were young. Yes, we were foolish. But they brought us together and they bound us. And you have destroyed this bond. And our son is now going to have to be in a place where his father has broken that vow as well to the gods as well as to me.
Wait. Our son?
Okay. I would say go ahead and make a roll to see probably if you recover from her, if this is going to add to the... Because she's got that 24.
Do I roll the same stats, or do I pick all new ones?
It can be new ones if some of that makes sense, but you're probably looking at something probably pretty close.
Yeah, I'm just going to roll the same ones. It's an 18.
Do you want to roll the other d6 from the inn?
Well, that would erase it for everybody, wouldn't it?
Well, there's only one dice in it left now.
Oh, okay. I might as well then. That's a 2, so that'd be 20.
Okay, you got the 24. That sounds like you could probably take a d8 in... I don't know if of those ones. I mean, Insecure is the one that makes the most sense. It'd replace the d6.
Okay.
Just, yes, your son, the one we had that you left before you realized he was there.
You had 20 years to tell me this. 20 years.
You fled.
You were too wild. Oh. Marion, look, by law, we were separated over 3 years, which means legally in the city we are divorced.
Okay. There's in the city, at which point there's a knock on the office door that you're in. There's also going to be a knock on Wrath's door. And they're basically like, if someone answers, they say the same thing. We got guardians.
Why?
Nastaya.
Hello.
So yeah, as you sort of gone back and taken that moment, when you come back out from the thing, you see that there are 6 guardians, all in their regalia, armed. And most people in the thing, most people don't even go peacebound in the city. They usually want to keep weapons in such a way, simply because there are so many sort of opportunities. I'm sorry, it would make sense to be peacebound because you also have wizards and other stuff walking around. So if they want to crack off with a spell, yeah, and they're in.
Just, fuck.
And they've come in and they've sort of spread out a little bit. They're looking at it, and suddenly everyone who's in the thing are paying kind of a lot more attention to the doorway. Again, once more, people have sort of stopped talking.
Samrio steps out. Like, hold on, wait, what is this? Oh, God, I don't need this today.
I think Wrath pops out too. He's like, Wilfred, with me.
Yeah, as Wilfred sort of like kind of pops out and goes, "Oh no!" And he's like sees the Guardians. It's like
you're not staying in my office. Maybe I shove him into another lounge room.
It just. Or I'll say, if you try to shove him, he's probably a little hard to get. You see him kind of go up and then like climb up, like one of the supports to go like basically try to get
into the rafters.
Well, not the rafters, into the second floor adventurers place, which is definitely a place that he would belong. Though even they get a little nervous when Kender walk in. So yeah, he's I'll go and again sneaky as hell. Since you're sort of able to know where he's going.
Yeah, I come out. I'm like, what do you find folk need? I think the proprietor's out right now.
One of them steps forward and goes, I am Enzo Davia. We've been sent to help keep an eye on this place and all the things that have been going on in the last few weeks.
We have private security here.
Sponsored by the city and the Alliance of the City.
And we are the Guardians. It was determined at a council meeting that perhaps we needed people more tuned into the city's needs itself to make sure that we no longer have fights. We no longer have, and like with a look, demons kicking a Guardian across the street.
That was a one-time thing. This is a bar. There's going to be fights. People drink. There's fights. But we keep it contained, right?
Most bars do not have the clientele that yours does.
Well, it's not my bar, but... I mean, the proprietor didn't tell us about this, so I don't think we should be starting this until we go over the details with our boss.
The proprietor right now is in a meeting with the council. He's been made aware.
Okay, well, you guys just got to stay out of the way, you know? I mean, we have customers, but... Damn. I look over at this guy, I'm like, this is going to be totally crappy for business. I'm not going to want to come here with a bunch of Guardians standing around.
Yeah, she's like clenching and unclenching her hands and looking between a few people, like Samrio, the Guardians, then the Angel Boy, and then back to the Guardians, and it's just like trying to think of solutions, and she really doesn't want to go violent in front of
plot point
in front of someone she's trying to like impress, and probably someone who wouldn't be impressed by extreme violence. And so she just says, so your job is to just stand in a bar from now on?
Our job is to help augment your personal security and also keep an eye and make sure that the things that have been happening here stop, or we see if new leadership is needed.
Right.
New leadership. You mean the proprietor's in a meeting and agreed to have you come watch his own establishment to determine whether it needs a new leader?
The proprietor has been informed. The proprietor does not have to agree.
Sounds legit. Saying that in the most sarcastic way possible.
They sort of look and go. There's a bunch of people sort of sitting at this table and goes, "We'll take that table." The people
Can't
there
take that table. There's people there.
Nope, that's fine. That's when they start to like get up and move.
Cool. Would you guys like a drink? I guess it's free for employees.
We'll have water. We're not allowed to drink on duty.
Cool. Okay? So probably only Wrath and Samrio and probably a few of like the really old regulars know this look. She turns to go get the drink, and she has 100%. She is going to spike the drink unless stopped.
Wrath doesn't argue.
Samario's not going to stop you either.
Fuck.
So, what do you spike the drink with?
God, what's a good one? What's one that won't kill them?
It could be the same thing we spiked. What's her name? With
she
the
does not want to see that again.
with the gives them an upset stomach. Or they have to use the restroom. Really bad.
Maybe something that what would be in poor form for a guardian to do? Just like would be like not appropriate for a guardian to
Sleep.
do. Sleep's a good one.
Or get too drunk and act a fool.
Yeah. Yeah, she'll probably hold off on something crazy and just be like, yeah, I'm gonna make these guys a bit drowsy.
Okay. Yeah, so you kind of put something in, take it off, and just here's water. No, thank you. And again, just sort of staring you down. And they kind of lean in and are sort of talking quietly, but they're also sort of keeping an eye on people in the rest of it. The door to the second floor kind of opens up and goes. One of the adventurers says, like, "Wrath, I think we've got one that belongs to you up here. Is it?" And then sees the Guardians. Are you aware of it?
I'll be right up.
Kind of looks and then you see some others start to like kind of poke their head out and see, like I said, the group of Guardians in full regalia. Is a weird thing to see sitting down in a bar like that. What does everybody do?
I look over at Wrath and I'm like, I give him the signal, like watch them, and I go back into the office.
Okay. Oh, do me a favor, Nistaya, if you want to spend a plot point to give yourself a D6 for the poison. If you just want to make a roll, it'll just be against the Doom Pool, which isn't a lot right now, to see how effective the spiking is, or whether they happen to notice.
Oh shit! Okay. 4.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Add that D. If you spend the plot point for the D6 is basically creating.
So extra stuff.
Yeah, the plot point is there to represent the.
Okay, so
the poison essentially. So that 4 will be added to. It'll be one of your dice.
100% authority, which is literally in brackets for release. Relationships. I'm I'm not going to add a relationship just yet. She is daring, though. This is very daring. Has anyone used an extra or a location?
Both it's the Demon's Run Inn is no longer available to be used.
Okay. Fuck. Okay. I have way too many tabs open, so let's start rolling.
Okay, well, you're looking that up. Wrath, did you go upstairs or what do you?
Yeah, Samrio did that, eye gesture thing, and I was just like, I shrugged and I went upstairs because Nastai is here to run the bar.
Okay.
And frankly,
That's what I was trying to avoid.
one of mine likely means the Kenders, strung up in the middle of the bar, second floor at this point.
Not so much strung up as Wilfred is sort of being kept against the wall. They're sort of a pretty decent. Nastai, take a plot point back for that one you got.
Yep.
Pretty, like, he's kind of being kept sort of against a wall, and there's, like, a split between him and the rest, and he's just like, I have not taken anything. And you got one of the, like, her dwarf is just sort of sitting there staring at him and going, Kender are not allowed in here without a keeper.
Wrath winces a little bit at that word. He's like, this one's with me. Wilfred, give the dwarf back whatever you've taken.
He goes, I honestly haven't.
Stare at him.
He goes, the second I walked in the door, they all got up and drew just in case. The dwarf is just like, he hasn't stolen anything yet.
I'm like, this one's with me.
He kind of looks over. It's like, Wrath, I know it's been a while, but you know better than to just place a Kender in a place unwatched.
Like, I didn't give him the idea to come up here, but there's like a whole mess of guardians on the first floor right now.
Why are there guardians down there?
Apparently, after I lean in, I'm like, well, after Nastia booted one across the street, there's been some tension, and the Council of Guardians has determined that we need minders for a while. I think they're trying to intimidate the proprietor.
Possibly. There's plenty of people who are not, plenty of people up above who would rather have the money from this tavern going into coffers that are not demonic. Proprietor's a good demon. He's been doing well, but a lot of money comes through here. They'd like to keep it themselves.
I imagine. And having one of our staff boot a guardian sure went over as well as you would expect. As well as a Kender in a bar. And I turn and stare.
He goes, I didn't plan to come up here. This is an emergency situation. That's why I'm here.
I understand, Wilfred.
And then there's the dwarf kind of looks at you again and goes, I don't know if you want to check and see what he pocketed on his way through the normal people, or just let him keep it.
I'll take care of it.
Smiles and he goes, he didn't get a chance to fleece any of us, but we know what we're doing. Good to see you, Wrath. You should come up and have a drink more often.
And what is his name?
His name is Dwarfy McIronfort. Dwarf name generator. Oh, I like that. Skomerer Warminer.
What's the spelling of the first name?
Let me get this down and I'll let you know. Skomer.
Warminder?
Yep.
Like anytime, Scomer.
Goes, I'll buy you one next time you're up.
I look, look for any guardians up here. Is it quiet?
Guardians know probably better than to come up to this area. And the thing is, that to be honest, if fights were to happen, and they maybe happen very, 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 very occasionally up here, the adventurers are very good about usually taking care of things themselves as a group. Like, they know there's a lot of heavy firepower essentially there. So people up there don't tend to fuck around. Plus, it also gets people kicked out of the thing. Like that's sort of a one strike and you're done in a lot of respects. So the threat of essentially having the world's biggest and most accessible dungeon taken away is a pretty good threat. Speaking of threats, Sam Rio, you said you go back into the office?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they both sort of come out to sort of see the Guardians and such coming in. And Kindy just sort of looks, it's like, we've talked a little bit. So Ronan has a brother.
That I just found out about.
Mm-hmm. And I just found out about the fact that you were married 20 years ago. That should have come up. At which point, Marion goes, "It's so strange the things you choose not to tell people, like that you're leaving forever, as opposed to just going for a drink."
I gave you the warnings that I would be leaving if you kept it up. No, I didn't come straight out and say, "Look, I'm leaving at 2:00 today, and you're never going to see me again." No. But I gave you plenty of hints.
At that point, Kindy literally just... Sam, we've talked about your hints.
And Kenny, I'm sorry I didn't bring it up, but I didn't think I'd ever need to. 20 years.
You didn't think you need to share an important part of your life? A part of your life that even if you hadn't have sired a child that you then abandoned?
I didn't abandon a child I didn't know I had.
Well, but you still abandoned a wife, not knowing that she was pregnant.
Look, whatever she tells you, it wasn't as one-sided as it seems.
At which point Marion just goes, "I can be very hard to live with."
She's a killer.
She goes, "Almost everyone you know are killers."
Kenny's not. My kids are not.
At the point she's like, "I believe our children should meet their brother. I believe she should come over for dinner, and so we can have this all hashed out."
Oh my God! Can we just not bring this to the house? Do you realize how confusing this might be for Ruby?
That's fine. That's fine. So your child of your loins, who has not had a father, she has not been able to remarry. She told me about their customs and about the fact that she took it very seriously, more seriously than you did, and she has not been with someone else since.
That was her choice and her culture. That's not what the law says.
Sam, are you saying that she's not going to come over and our children are not going to meet their sibling, half-sibling? And Marion's just smiling.
I give Marion just like the worst shit-eating look. I'm like, look, just no, that's fine. They can meet the brother. I would love to meet. My son. It like just tastes wrong when he says it. But just not. Can we take our time with this? Does this have to be immediate?
She goes, "You go back to work. Marion and I are gonna talk."
I think this is.
Marion sort of smiles and literally, like something you don't normally see, hooks an arm through Kindy's, and then just smiles and goes, "We'll see you soon, Sam Rio."
think I'm gonna throw up. Marion, do you need anything to drink?
So Kenny's like, we've got some at home. And the two of them... Yeah, and I will say this, like, Nastya, you see Kindy, and then this woman who had yelled that Sanrio was also her husband, sort of, like, linking arms and then walking out of the inn.
That's gonna be a really, really weird threesome.
That's a very angry one.
Yeah, Sanrio's like back to the bar, and he's like just uttering curses like under his breath, like.
She turns to look at Sanrio.
What?
Yeah. Do you want me to? I'm fine behind the bar. Do you want to go get like a break or something?
I need a drink. Or two.
Yes.
Or 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm not gonna drink it here because of the Guardians. I'm gonna go across the street or wherever the other tavern is at.
The Angel's Rest?
Yeah, the Angel's Rest. I'm going to the Angel's Rest to have a drink.
Okay.
Or 2 or 3.
Have a bunch. Okay, so you're going to the Angel's Rest, Nastya and Wrath?
Nastya is thinking about every single person that she talks to and how they like she wants relationship advice, and she's thinking about all the people. Sanrio, no, clearly not. Wrath, no, the husband, very, very troubling. Her mum and stepdad, that's not going well right now. There's no one she can talk to. It's all going badly. So yeah, she's just very much trying not to get into trouble and just trying to have a quiet shift and also not like look like a dork.
Okay, and then Wrath?
Well, Wrath is gonna, escort the Kender out of the adventurer section before he does what Kender do and steal everything from everyone. Like, what do we need? What's the starting point?
Kind of smiles and goes, well, you figure out what disguise to get me in. If we get into, and kind of like points at one of the names and goes, this one probably has most of what we'll need. Hopefully.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
How sleepy did the Guardians get?
Oh, they're like it hasn't been very long, but you do see them like a little bit. They're sort of like sipping the water and talking, and like it's at night, so some of them are maybe they've been working all day, but you see yawns happening.
Yeah, I think I point attention to Wilfred at the sleepy Guardians. Like I'm just like as I'm walking out the door.
I look at Sanrio, look at the Guardians, look at Wilfred. Like, I need to do a little bit of research first. You'll be okay out here, won't you? I look at Wilfred, look at the Guardians, look back at Wilfred.
Wilfred's head kind of drops, and Wilfred actually just sits on the floor and then dangles his feet out, like on the railing of the thing. So his theater thing, so he's just there, like almost like in a cage, looking down over the first floor, so that like he's not close enough to anyone to sort of take something off of them. And goes, yeah, someone could bring me a drink. That'd be nice.
I'm like,
I should probably stay here.
What? No, I stop. I'm like, and lean in. I'm like, maybe you didn't get what I was saying. Those 6 there sure do look tired. It would be a shame if someone took advantage of their sleepiness and fleeced them while they were not paying attention.
See, Wrath, this is why we get along so well. You appear to be like Mr. like on top of everything and everything's supposed to be done the right way, but you got inside of you a better heart than that.
But really, I do have research to do.
Yep. And let's see what
And I
got.
can't leave you up here without getting in trouble myself. So
Okay, because, yep, they'll probably barely be able to see me. And at which point, kind of like reaches in and sort of like kind of puts on some stuff to make it look more like a child as opposed to a Kender. Like puts on a cloak kind of thing that has over, so it's kind of hiding all the pouches and everything else, and goes, "How do I look?"
innocent.
And goes down. So I think about this point, I know that you've only got about 20 more minutes, but this actually seems like not a bad place to sort of call it.
I mean, it's not a bad place for me, but you guys can continue.
Yeah. Well, I'm also thinking like one of the things is you get like everyone's giving me some really good stuff, and like already I can kind of pull that stuff. So I think some time to sort of prep some specifics. Like I'm going to want stats for at least Marion, and some of those things. But yeah, are we cool with sort of like calling it here, considering the next session a part of this one?
Sure.
Yeah, I can do that.
Cool. Yeah. So, like I said, I think the stuff that folks came up with gives some really great hooks to make a whole bunch of things happen. Like Kendi, there's a lot of stuff now we can do with her since we've got someone. And I do like the fact also we can have that the two women who have been lied to and that stuff, but they are not going to be against each other. I'm like, nope, screw that. They're going to be. They're going to.
I'm an enemy.
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, then we can play with Angel Boyfriend, and I can also bring in some more stuff with Nastya for next time. I make a note here.
Yes, definitely bring in somebody that Nastya can talk to for relationship advice.
Yeah.
I love the thought process of Nastya. I talk to Samrio, no. Wrath, no.
No. Proprietor?
Proprietor?
No.
Hell no.
Angels. Yeah, Proprietor doesn't really understand. That's why his wife is also seeing the other demon from time to time.
You might test the water and see if Scarla has good relationship
Yeah.
advice
Kinder Steel.
without blowing the fact that she has a crush on an angel. She'll probably be like, "Oh yeah, no, I met a demon and he's like really cool."
I'm asking for a friend.
And I'll make a note that the Guardians have been drugged with sleepy, go nighttime drugs. Okay. Well, cool. Yeah, if we're good there, then I'll get some grading and such done before tonight. Yeah, I think it's a good place to start. Like I said, the stuff that got added, I got all sorts of ideas and stuff. I think it'll be fun to pull those and see what happens.
Great.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, y'all have a good one.
I will see you all next
All
week.
right.
Okay,
Later.
so-
Bye.